Shalom, shalom to the brother. I'm a one coming to you with another lesson in the name of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kwadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the brothers out there pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. And much love to the Archim and the Arkwaf out there that's, believing and listening and learning and waiting for salvation. Peace and blessings to you also. So what I want to just do a brief lesson on, let me start by saying, still to this day, obviously, our people have not been recompensed, for the troubles that's been put upon us, man. Whether it be, the supremacy, the systematic oppression, the slavery, I don't need to go through it all because we've said these things a million times, but you know what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of talk, still to this day of receiving recompense, man. I'm talking about it in the world. I'm talking about reparations, what they call reparations, right? But what these guys these people of our nation don't understand is that reparations, the true reparations, isn't about money only. All right, it's not just about wealth, because these demons, these devils, they made a whole kingdom off the backs of the Israelites. All right, and they're still building a kingdom up of the backs of our backs to this day. But they got a debt. They got a blood debt, man. All right, they got a debt that needs to be paid in blood. That's the true balance of things. You can't just give us money and ride off into this, and you don't even want to do that. That's the worst part. They don't even want to do that. They can't even. They couldn't afford it, for starters. Secondly, even if they could afford it, they still wouldn't do it. So they want to get away scot-free, man. But we don't want just the wealth, man. We want a pound of flesh. All right, I want to try and keep this kind of rosy, you know what I mean? Not to go too deep with the language. But we want our pound of flesh, man. All right, and that's according to the scriptures, man. All right. We are owed that. The difference is, man, we have to wait. We have to wait for Yahweh Shai to come back to mete out that revenge, all right, for our sakes, as well as his own, because he's owed as well. Let's not forget that. So anyway, I'm gonna let some scriptures talk anyway. So excuse me, I got a bit of a raspy throat. Isaiah 14:21 says, "Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land nor fill the face of the world with cities." Right? So it says, prepare slaughter for his children. And what these Edomites of today don't understand, they're always complaining and saying, "Oh, we didn't have slaves, we didn't do this, we didn't do that." That was your forefathers, man. But you are your forefathers. Get your head around that one. They are their forefathers, man. All right. Remember, we come back in the third and fourth generations, man, and that's everybody. That's reincarnation. That's scriptural. All right. So they are their fathers, man. So it was you, and that's why you carry that guilt. That's why you try to shed that guilt, but you can't shed it. It's spiritual guilt. It's upon you, and you got to pay. And not only have you got to pay by building up our kingdom, man, you got to pay in blood, man. All right, you got to pay in blood. Where's that? So Numbers 35 and 33 says, "So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it." So what that's saying is all the places, or it's not even just about the geographics, man, but Esau has shed the blood of our people, man. All right, basically. All right. So basically, what they're saying is he's defiled this earth with our blood, man, by shedding our blood unjustly, and the only way to cleanse it and have, to have that recompense is for his blood to be spilled, man. It's just that simple. And Esau is smart, man. He's created laws. It's lawful, man, for you to take a life for a life, man. It's lawful to do that. If the life was taken unjustly, it's lawful to do that. But Esau's changed the ordinances, man. He's changed the laws now. Now you got to go to him to seek your justice, and his justice is not according to the scriptures. So, especially when it comes to our people as well. He'll put our people in prison for, unaliving someone for the maximum he can do that for, no matter the circumstances. When it's our people that get unalived, he finds all sorts of ways to be lenient on the perpetrators, man. And especially when you look at the police, when they're murking Jakes out there in the streets, man, and they're getting paid leave and suspensions, but no jail time. And that's in the curses anyway, man. That's all part of the curses, man. And that's the reason why these things happen to us, right? But you got to remember that Esau took it too far, man. He took it too far. And let's talk about that recompense some more, man. This is a part of it. Revelation 13 and 10 says, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." And you know what? I just want to mention this. We said, this is just a silly side note, basically, but that word sword, man. Them brothers that, in Babylon and that, they say sword, man. And that's actually the correct way to say that word. That was the original way in English to say that word. In English, all right, to say that word was sword. You pronounce the W. But along the way at Esau, when he likes to change everything to his own way of thinking, and now people just call it sword, but the old English is sword. Just a side note anyway. Just because the word is there twice, and I said it twice. Anyway, so I'll read that again. It says, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints." Right? So that's a part of our recompense, man. Our reparation is for these Edomites to go into captivity like they put us into captivity, and for their blood to be shed by the sword, man. All right? Just how they did it to us. All right? They've got, I say it all the time, man. They've got hell to pay, man. They've got a lot to pay for, man. Bear with. Isaiah 33:1 says, "Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee." The Lord's got it all worked out, man. Esau thinks he's rode off into the sunset, man. All right, he thinks he's got away with it. He can't see this being flipped around on him, and that's his level of pride, man. That's his level of pride. He can't understand that that's not how life works, man. You know, he calls it karma. In his world, he calls it karma, man. You know, what goes around comes around, man. You know, they take vengeance for what happens to them, don't they? You look at their head tribe, the Amalekites, man. Those JOOS's, man. They're still locking up other Edomites from World War II, man. 90-year-old Edomites, man, for their war crimes. They don't forget shit. So why should we? You know, I read this a lot, but you know, it's you know, it warms the spirit when you read these scriptures, man. Ezekiel 35. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. So we're supposed to do that. You know, we're supposed to be bringing this out against Esau, man. Esau, Mount Seir, for those that don't know, represents Esau. It says, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. So the Lord hasn't forgotten, man. All right? You're not going to get away with it. All right? It says, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. And it goes into this more. Looks, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Right? Because it says they haven't hated blood because they don't mind spilling other people's blood, man. All right, they're quick to spill the blood of their enemies and those that they deem lesser than they are. You know. Exodus 21:16 says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, shall surely be put to death. It says, you know, that doesn't even need breaking down, really. But I will say that, you know, the children of Israel have been scattered, man, scattered abroad, and now you have a bastard son dwelling in our land, man. All right, you got imposters dwelling in our land, and we have nowhere to go. So basically we are still in the hands of our oppressors, man, because we should be in our own land, and we should be ruling over these heathens, man. So we should be ruling over them. Isaiah 14:1 says, "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors." That is the reparations, man. All right, you silly jakes out there that are still dreaming, you have no power to force Esau into giving you anything. You can talk and talk and talk, man. They just ignore you. They ignore you. They have no qualms ignoring you and acting like you didn't even say anything. When are you going to understand that Esau's not listening to you? You're not on his radar. He'll run after the so-called Asians, and other nations before he starts dealing with you correctly. That's been shown. The what is it, that anti-Asian hate bill or whatever it's called out there. They're mocking you, man. George Floyd gets murked, and all they do is build some giant statue of the guy. They put up Martin Luther King Boulevard in every ghetto in every city in Babylon, man. Like that's supposed to do something for you. That man sold his people out anyway, man. And they made sure of that. They infiltrated into him, and he sold his people out, man. So, the reparations that you're asking for is not even the correct measure. And Esau ain't gonna give that to you. He's not gonna hand that over. Joel 3, I'll start from the top, might as well. "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, the two kingdoms coming together, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat or Jehoshaphat." The valley of Yahweh's judgment. "And I will plead with them for my people and for my heritage Israel." And look, you see what it says there as well? Just a side point, got to get those side points in. This is talking to Israel, man, his people, all right? He's not dealing with any of you other nations, man. You don't need saving. And even if you did need saving, you don't get that because it's not promised unto you. So it says, "And I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink." And that's that. That's those auction blocks, man. Back in them slave days, man. It says, "Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. Children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them, and will return recompense upon your own head." And not forgetting, but Deuteronomy 28:68 goes into the captivity and whatnot. But this is another scripture that proves it's us, because we were the ones sold. All the other nations talk about everybody has been slaves. Yeah, that might be a fact, but it's the manner in which we were enslaved. All right. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to a people far off, for the Lord has spoken. It's just what they did, sold us far and wide, man. All right, that is the reparations, man. This is the reparations that we need. All right, this is what we're waiting for. Esau, you can take your there's no point in me even saying it, man. All he had to do was give, at the time when he said it, was 40 acres and a mule, man. That was the deal. Now, calculating what you owe, you can't even pay it even if you wanted to. And you have no intention of doing that, man. You have no intention of filling the pockets of Israel, man, and assisting them in doing something in this world. And we don't want that, man. Like I said already, because why? Because we have something greater that's coming to us, man. All right. That's the real reparations right there, man. I'll get a couple more scripts. I could read up, but I just want to get to the point here. So Jeremiah 49:12 says, "For thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it." You know? And just for the context, you know, verse 10 tells you he's talking to Esau, but I've made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he's not. Right? But he's about to be. All right? He's about to drink the same cup of captivity, and being the lowest of the low, downtrodden, hated, despised amongst all nations, man. That's his cup to drink, and that's coming soon. All right. I'm gonna read Revelation 18. I'm gonna close out on this one, I think. So Revelation 18:1, it says, "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird." All the wickedness and the wicked doctrines and evil idealisms that they want to what they want to push out on the rest of the world, man. It's all evil. It says, verse 3 says, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." So he's spreading his wickedness among. That's why he tries to go over to the continent of Africa and try to force the leaders over there to accept all this LGBTQ business and all that sort of stuff, you know. Now you got this World Cup that's coming up in Qatar, and all they're talking about is, you know, the rights of these alphabet crews, man. You know, trying to impose their ideology on these other nations, man. Trying to force their wicked ways on these other nations, man. It says, "And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies." Yeah, because you either deal with her or you don't deal. You either deal with Babylon, aka America, or you don't deal, man. So these countries, as much as they know how wicked that place is and how bad it is, you know, they'll still deal with it for the sake of lucre, money. Verse 4 says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. And it doesn't mean to leave Babylon, aka America. It means spiritually remove yourself from the ways of Babylon, man. Become engulfed in the ways of the Lord, man, and not the ways of Babylon. All right. Verse 5 says, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, in the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself, and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and I am no widow, and shall see no sorrow." Because America has not been dealt with yet by any other nation. It's gone all over the world. And the so-called Middle East has gone to there, destroyed it. Continents, places in Africa, it's done that. Japan, the bombing up Japan, all of that sort of stuff. So it's been around, man. It's been around to other parts of the earth and decimated it, but has not been touched. Has not had any revenge fallen upon her. So her time is coming for that. And I'll read this last verse and close out on this. It says, "Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh who judgeth her." And that's that rain that's going to come down, that rain of ICBMs, that rain of nuclear missiles to destroy that place. It has to be wiped out. That land is so defiled that the fire that has to cleanse it, man. All right, and it's defiled, man. No one's going to dwell there, man. It's a sign. It's going to be for a sign. All right. So that's reparations, man. That's the reparations that we're waiting for. Esau can take his reparations and stick it where the sun don't shine, man. And I say that knowing that he has no intentions of paying it anyway. So anyway, with that, I'm going to close out. And Lord willing, this was edifying. We'll give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. With that, I say Shalom, Wa Abba Baba and Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.